shot the whole video, and because of my little spotlight here shining right down on my work, you couldn't see, you couldn't see anything I was talking about. Pretty funny. I'm glad I'm a guitar builder, not a filmmaker, right? All right, so let me try this one more time. What I'm talking about is maple inlays, and the do's and don'ts are, I'm going to concentrate on the do's and tell you about some don'ts. How's that? We got these acrylic squares, or not squares, but whatever, rectangles, blocks, whatever you want to call them. I do have a CNC, so I did program this and milled them with an 1/8 inch end mill, and then I came in with a fret slot cutter that's 23 thousandths and traced it out, so I had nice tight little corners. I did this by hand for years and years, so you can still do it, but you're going to end up with the same round corners because of the end mill. And normally I wouldn't use, if I was doing it by hand, I wouldn't get all the way down to 23 thousandths. Normally I would go with 31 thou or whatever that small end mill is that I used to get from Stu Mack. The don'ts on maple are don't try to fill, so don't make any mistakes. Because if you're using ebony, or if you're inlaying ebony or any dark wood, rosewood, any of those, you basically, it's very forgiving. The darker, the more forgiving. So ebony, you can just, I don't want to say be sloppy, because you can see it if it's huge, but I mean, using black super glue on ebony is gravy. All right, sorry about the interruption. I had to break in there because I was just getting off into the weeds again, as I do all the time. This is the second take on this video because my lighting was horrible in the first one, and I'm kind of thinking that you guys heard what I said in the first one. Not the case. So when I'm referring to ebony, and I did go with the black super glue, yeah, on ebony, so, you know, I do that a lot. I'll use black epoxy, black super glue, but what I was trying to convey in this video, because it's about maple, not about ebony, is that a lot of the technique with ebony would be to grind up or take the shavings or dust from ebony, which I save everything I can get. Boy, I don't have one right here. I use like empty bottles. I swipe these from my wife, really cool. And like if I'm doing a Babinga job, matter of fact, I thought I had one here. I do. You know what I'm saying? I save, I've got all the fines and chips and the whole nine. So with darker woods, you can actually take the dust and take glue, super glue, cyacrylate, and put it in the thing, and you really can't tell. With maple, and this was my point here that I did not convey, you can't take maple, you can take maple dust and glue and put it in the hole, but it is going to be the wrong color and it's going to stick out like a sore thumb. That's what I was trying to say here. So sorry about this little pause for the cause, but I really needed to clarify that. So make sure your maple's right, and I'll just leave it back to me to finish explaining whatever it is I'm doing here. Thanks, man. So anyway, I've already done these front two corners, haven't done the back two. So let me show you what I'm going to use and what I'm not going to use. One thing you want to be careful of is if you use any steel tools, basically, let me qualify that, if it's a rusting type of steel, then you run the risk of impregnating the wood with those fibers off the tool and getting rust in your line, or you can actually discolor maple with all kind of different stuff. So I like to use, you know, surgical steel, stainless steel, those kind of things are the best tools to use. But here's the tool of choice right now, and this is it's a chisel tip X-Acto type blade. I wish it was flat on one side, but it's not. It has a double bevel. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's going to work fine either way, but you just have to be careful in these corners. So let me just run through this, and remember, you can push the maple around. The reason why I have these little guys here is you can actually burnish the maple. If I get it close, instead of cutting more, I might try to move the wood, and I can use a tool like this to go in and actually move the wood fiber and create a square. because the preferred method on maple for me is to use a regular aliphatic resin type glue, or whatever they call that stuff, the yellow carpenter glue, wood glue. It's water based. It will swell the wood, so any little fibers, if you're off a hair, it will actually help cover that up. It won't cover it up, it'll recover it up. So anyway, with this little guy right here, I'm going to slide my bevel. I'm going to make sure it's lined up with this, not the tool itself, because the bevel's going to make it crawl out that way. And I'm going to push that tip, which is sharp. I'm just going to push it in just a little bit, and I'm going to kind of use it like a paper cutter, and I'm going to just go up. And I don't have my work light here, which is kind of a drag, but get that out of the way. I'll do the same here. You probably can't see this too good, but so basically what I've got is, if this was the wall, I've got the tip poking down in the bottom of the cavity, and the razor's coming up like this, and as I go up, I'm introducing into the wall. All right, I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to come straight up, and basically what I end up with is two surgical lines coming in. The next tool I like are these little Stumac micro carving chisels. I hope you can see that. I don't know how this thing focuses real close, but it's got a real flat shoe in the back, and it just grabbed my finger. It's so sharp. I mean, these things are really sharp. And I bought a 4-pack years ago, man. These things have been great. Just keep them sharp. So anyway, I'll use the shoe on the edge of the cavity, at least until I get down here. It's going to be a little harder. And then just basically follow in that chase that we made with our little paper cutter action, and resist the urge to pry out, because that'll be detrimental, man. You'll put a dent in your cavity. You don't want to do that. So you can use your finger to pry, but the best way would probably be go to the bottom and just rock it a little bit, or to take another X-Acto type tool and come in. But anyway, so that is basically one of the corners. Let me get this corner over here, and then I'll see if we can't get this thing fit in here. The light I had above me, it was super bright. Actually, it was too bright, but you don't want to make mistakes, and shadows will throw you off. So I'm actually taking a chance by I don't want to screw up my work, is what I'm trying to say. Alright, I didn't even have my visor on for all of that, which is also detrimental. Or could be. I don't think so. I think I tend to err on the side of undercutting, and I don't mind cutting it 4 or 5 times, you know, and sitting here for a while. One thing is, I've already pre-checked my fit this way, and I pre-checked my fit this way, and it's tight, which is awesome. These two corners are lining up real good, so let's check out what we just did. And I'm just going to seat in the first 2 corners and just try to push it forward, and actually that is right on the money, which is great. But I wanted to show you the other tool. My dentist, every time I go in to get my teeth cleaned, well, I've got my dentist, he's got a little thing going on with me, and then I've got my orthodontist, or whatever, the teeth cleaning lady, Queen of Pain I like to call her. So she saves, they throw these away after so many uses, the picks and the whole 9, and I ask her to save them for me. And every time I go, she has a drawer full of broken tools. Well, like this one was bent, but this is a really great little tool, and it's got a little hockey stick on the other side, and I use these all the time. So I would come in, and the fiber, obviously, you remember the grains running this way. You can push it out like that, and push the straws, because it's like a bunch of straws coming this way. You can push them back in too, and you can literally move the wood fibers temporarily with a tool like this. to be able to get your inlay to fit. This job is so far, so tight that, well, dang. Okay, that's a good one. And that was, I sure hope this camera's focusing because I can't see what's going on there, but hopefully. I might use wood glue, I might not. There's a little bit of a gap there, and the wood glue will swell that up, and the maple will just encompass all around that inlay. Tom Marcel, who worked with Montleone, Luthier Montleone, showed me that trick years ago, and that was worth its price of admission right there. But anyway, that's really all I got for you. Just wanted to take a couple minutes, kind of show that to you, and I got to get back to these inlays because this is actually gotta go. All right, peace.